IVM.
Imagine this. Your boss sends you a photo on your phone. It's not a growth graph or a project that you have been working on. Instead, it's a picture of a hand around an erect penis. Welcome to the show, The Longest Constitution. My name is Priya Mirza, and this show is about the Constitution and everyday issues about what we can and can't do. In the first series, we are looking at sex. Having sex, thinking about sex, watching sex, which is pornography, and our constitutional right to our sexual identity and our sex lives, basically. Whether it's unilateral sex, that's the phrase the Bombay High Court coined for masturbation, or bilateral sex, which is with another consenting adult. I mean, whatever works for you, whatever it's called, whatever you like, it is your call. In today's show, we are talking about how we have a right to watch pornography. And that's constitutional, and why inflicting porn on other people, though, is neither cool nor constitutional. So let's get started. In the last episode, we saw that the crime of obscenity was dealt with defining obscene as invoking certain feelings, and that the IPC doesn't in fact define obscene. Is pornography obscene? But the real question is, what is pornography? The word pornography comes from the Greek pornographos, which literally means writing about prostitutes. But are prostitutes the only ones having sex? And things have changed since then. It could be an essay or a video or an image. And the American Supreme Court judge, Justice Porter Stewart, famously once said, "I know it when I see it." Fair enough, each one to their own. But to give a general idea, pornography is sexually explicit material that is primarily designed to produce sexual arousal. So what's the problem? The problem is when one has a certain vision of what an ideal society should look like and mix that up with morality. Porn is never just porn, and many people have a moral problem with it, like Kamlesh Vaswani, a lawyer who filed a PIL in the Supreme Court of India in 2013. For Vaswani, porn had to be banned. He argued that porn leads to sexual violence against women and children. It makes people porn addicts. It corrupts and pollutes India's great culture and values. And the worst thing, it breaks down family values. When someone said that women watch porn too, he said, to say that Indian women watch porn is an insult to their dignity. Hey, to which I say, Indian women can figure out their dignity themselves. Thank you very much, Mr. Vaswani. And dignity has nothing to do with watching porn anyway. Now, when this was admitted in the Supreme Court, this is what the judge had to say. We cannot pass these orders. Somebody may come to the court and say, look, I'm above 18, and how can you stop me from watching it within the four walls of my room? It is a violation of Article 21, the right to personal liberty. So said Chief Justice of India, H.L. Dattu. Let me restate that because it's hugely important. Handyala Lakshmi Narayan Swami Dattu, the Chief Justice of India in 2015, observed that watching pornography privately is a part of the fundamental rights granted by our Constitution, and yay for that. And he is, of course, absolutely right. Our Constitution has a veiled admission of why we must, absolutely must, have the space to explore ourselves, to be ourselves the way we want to be, and watch porn at home. And watching pornography at home is nobody else's business. Under Article 21 of our fundamental rights, we have the personal liberty to do so. And Article 19 grants us the right to express ourselves and receive information, including porn, in whatever form, as long as it's not affecting public morality. So the voluntary and private consumption of pornography is none of the state's business. One law under which pornography has been prohibited, though, is the IT Act of 2000. But that is not to do with consumption. Under the IT Act, Section 67 specifically, it is a crime to transmit it, any porn material. And if you do so, you will be put in jail. I'm just warning you. So if you either email it or upload it or have a YouTube channel, that's not on. That does take us back to the creep named Bhagwan Rao Jaikumar Gore, the man who sent his employee, a woman incidentally, an image of a penis. Gore also happens to be an MLA from Satara who won the 2019 elections on a BJP card. Now that is illegal. Not winning elections, but sending anyone explicit images. And the law, thank God for that, doesn't treat MLAs differently from ordinary mortals. Because under 67A of the IT Act, any transmission of electronic material which is not only lascivious or prurient but also portraying a sexually explicit act or conduct is a crime. And the court in the Jaikumar case agreed that an image of an erect handheld penis is sexually explicit, and sending it to anyone, least of all an employee, is a crime. So what's important to remember is that Section 67A does not prohibit watching and storing of porn, because the section only punishes publication and transmission. So rather than the imagined breakdown of society like Mr. Vaswani, I am more concerned about people who sexually harass employees rather than people watching pornography peacefully at home. While the Supreme Court upheld watching porn in the privacy of their home, the government went on another path. In 2018, the Department of Telecommunications instructed 5 of the largest internet service providers of India to ban about 800 porn websites. And this list included a number of comic sites, including one called Savita Bhabhi. The ban drew criticism from a range of India's public figures, and Chetan Bhagat wrote, "Porn ban is anti-freedom, impractical, not enforceable. Let's not manage people's private lives." And that's about right, Chetan. Since then, the government has changed this to ban only websites with child pornography. Possessing and storing child porn can send you to jail for up to 3 years and be slapped with a fine. So as of now, we are in a peculiar position where porn is hard to access, though it is in fact legal to consume it at home. So here comes the big question. Can you watch porn at home or not? And there are 2 answers to this question. No, it's a hard no if it's child porn, which is a serious criminal offense in India. But yes, you can if you're visiting an adult website that holds legally permissible porn content. Following government orders, this would be blocked, but it's still legal unless you live in UP. And in case you do, you better not look for porn on Google. I'm not going to do anything, but the UP police just might. In a previous episode, we saw how they pretended to be gay men to apprehend gay men. They clearly have nothing better to do. In February earlier this year, the UP police said it has hired a company to keep an eye on people's internet search data to monitor those looking up porn content. That's just creepy. So good luck to you. What's important to remember is how the Constitution does not mix up public morality with personal pleasure. As long as you're not putting up pornographic billboards across your city, it is perfectly constitutional, legal, and moral to be watching porn at home or dancing naked at home. Don't forget to shut the windows though. In the next episode, we will look at an area which people like Vaswani do not think will break down families, like domestic violence. I would love to know what you think of the longest constitution. Send me a message or ask me a question. I tweet at FundamentallyP, and my Instagram handle is the name of the show, The Longest Constitution. For now, this is me, Priya Mirza, signing off.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On a show about crypto, Rohan Joshi is joined by Ashish Singhal of CoinSwitch Kuber as they break down the blockchain. Marathi Kirkiton, our latest show, is all about Marathi culture, tradition, literature, cuisine, and more. To make your rainy day better, hear from Manik and Dr. Rajiv Deshmukh sharing their beautiful moments in this first episode. On Cyrus Says, Lakshmi joins us to talk about Splainer.in and the Press Decode podcast. On Press Decode, a discussion over sports and mental health, keeping in mind everything that's been going on recently. On Khel Niti, check out the preview of the first test match. And on Shunya One, find out why Intuit India is amongst the best places to work. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any other show for that matter, please do tell a friend. Word of mouth is the best way to spread the word about a podcast you love. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week: Seat, Cred, Global Victoria, Bank of Baroda, Intuit India, and CoinSwitch Kuber.
If you're a cricket fan, check out Edges and Sledges, India's favorite cricket podcast.
The podcast focuses on Indian cricket, the IPL, and has a ton of banter both on and off the field.
We talk about the week's biggest cricket stories with current and ex-international cricketers, coaches, or sometimes just between us.
And it's hosted by me, DJ.
Me, Varun.
And me, Ashwin.
New episodes release every week.
You can catch us on the IVM Podcast's website, app,
or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast.